What is up, my fellow Sambarians? So today we were pulling the struts out of my 97 Sambar Diaz, and basically because I'm gonna be lowering it and my strut hats are pretty they're looking pretty ratty, so this could cause a little bit of noise or some sloshy feelings up in the front. It's pretty bad in there. Look at that. Up in the front end, because your strut hats are obviously worn out, and I have lowering springs, like I said, coming, so I'm just kind of getting her prepped with new strut hats and all that good stuff. So I just wanted to kind of do a little how-to video on this quickly. I already did it, as you can see. I don't have no Bluetooth suspension yet, but basically what you're gonna do is take the brake line, which is connected to your coilover or your strut, that unbolts from that guy right there, then just basically slides off, and then I put the nut back in it so I don't lose it. And then once you get that done, you're gonna want to take this main bolt here, cinching it to the hub, and I use some penetrating grease, if you will, because it gets pretty rusted stuck inside there. So I let that kind of soak a little bit while I did one side. So this bolt will back out. And then essentially what you're going to want to do at that point is, what I did was I kind of just kicked this down because it's stuck in there. Don't do the top ones yet, because you want it to be stuck up there while you're pushing down on this bottom piece. And that will eventually get pretty low and loose. So then at that point you can either kick it all the way off, which you got to be a little bit careful because you don't want to over stretch your CV axles and pop them out. But what I did was basically got it down pretty, it was probably sitting about right here at this point, before I then took the two bolts off the top of the hat strut mounts. Which, what's great on the passenger side is obviously these seats flip up on the KS4s or the KSs or the KVs, and when that seat flips up, you can get to these rubber caps here, pop those off, and then you have direct access to the top of the shock mount, and then you can pull those bolts off. The driver's seat is a little trickier. You're gonna have to either remove the entire seat, or I didn't want to deal with that. You can get a ratchet. Got a angry chicken right now. You can get a ratchet up there. It's very tight, but you can do it. I use like a longer breaker with a swivel head, so I can pop that off. So anyways, I undid that while it was just barely inside the socket here, and then at that point I kind of pushed it down, pulled it out, and then I got a pry bar, a little pry bar, if you will, or a wedge or whatever you want, stuck it in there, spread that piece out just enough so I could slide the entire strut out. Trying to think if there was anything else, but yeah, that's basically, it's not very hard. This is very helpful to get in from the top. And then trying to think, I mean, these struts aren't leaking or anything, so I'm not gonna replace them, but the hats are definitely looking a little cracked, which is crazy because this is a 97 and my 92 is in way better looking shape. So I guess it just depends on how hard it was driven and where this thing was sitting. This thing is pretty rusty, so I think it's a lot of ocean time. But yeah, hopefully that helps. And then once you replace your hats or replace your struts or put lowering springs, what I was doing was cutting the springs, so it didn't end up working because this is at too much of an angle up here. It doesn't have the flat section like here, because essentially this coil looks exactly the same flipped over. So you got your flat, and your flat would be up here, but I had to cut the flat off to drop it a little bit. The backs worked out great. I got some good 1.5 inch back there, but the fronts just was not going to work. It was pushing too much angle on this coil bucket here, and then the bearing inside there, which is a little plastic bearing. Pretty sure that thing was going to break. But these are the new strut hats on this side already, because I was giving it a whirl to see if it would work. I do sell these on my eBay, so if you need some new strut hats, these are GMBs. I can put a link, but they are direct fit. GMB's got some pretty good stuff, so I'm happy with them so far. I already put some good load on it and drove it around my property to see if it would hang with the cut spring, and it hang, but it was a little wonky, and I got lowering springs coming anyways, so it was just let's see what happens if I cut the springs. But anyways, and then yeah, putting it back together, same deal. First you're gonna want to push it into this guy, and then set it in there, and then you'll set it up back into this shock mount, and then bolt her all back up. But hopefully that was a little bit of help, and a little sneaky trick if you're changing them out and you see these little plugs right here. Those plugs are for the top. All right, cool. Good luck.